This is under 50 at Target. Hashtag not an ad. Now, everything featured in this video was purchased, nothing is sponsored, but if you guys do want to pick something up featured in this video with a link down below, it does support the channel, which is amazing. So kicking off the list is this compact but powerful battery bank from Anker, the PowerCore 13000, which just sounds badass. You do have to buy the USB-C to Lightning cable separately, and that's one more argument of why Apple should follow suit with the iPad Pro and bring USB-C to the iPhone. But again, that's a different argument for a different day. Regardless though, the battery bank is awesome. You should absolutely pick one up. Next from there, number 3, you guys know I love me some thick, but now it's time to look at some slim. This is a 1 terabyte external USB 3 drive from Seagate. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the color, which I think looks amazing. And while the specific model is 1 terabyte, if you need all the terabytes, it goes all the way up to 5 terabytes, which is crazy. Clearly with increased storage comes increased price, but I think 1 terabyte overall is a pretty good number for most people out there. It's USB 3, and more importantly, it's not going to break the bank. Next up is this awesome guy behind me, a flame LED light. Nobody make a fire choke. I'm kidding. You can absolutely throw a fire emoji down below. There's not really much to explain about if you like fireplaces and you like LED lights. This is a sandwich of awesome. And maybe if Evans knew about this, he might still be in Missouri. I'm kidding. I love Evans. Maybe not as much as I love this light, but it's close. And if you guys want some ambience, a little bit of that holiday mood, grab one for yourself as well. Next from there, the fire does not stop. We got a Fire LED, and this is a Fire tablet, the Amazon Fire 7. I'm gonna be real with you. It's not like a blazing fast tablet, but for under 50 bucks, it is a damn good option. There's no way you're gonna be handing the business laying down tracks on this, but it's a great entry level tablet, whether you're just reading, watching video, whether it's Netflix, or even better, if you're in the Amazon ecosystem, it's going to be awesome. And the more important part is that it's under 50 bucks. So if it's for a kid, you're not gonna have a heart attack if he loses or drops this. From there, if you like lights and you like speakers, I'm gonna blow your mind because I got a 2-in-1. This is a Sanglid LED color changing speaker bulb. Cool. You guys know I love me some Philips Hue, but I get it. It's a big investment. You gotta buy into the ecosystem. You gotta buy the starter kit. Whereas with this, you just buy the light bulb and it just works. Smack on top the fact that it also plays music, and it's a pretty outstanding deal, especially the fact that it's on sale right now. Now, in terms of audio quality, it's definitely not gonna blow your face off. Like Snazzy Q isn't running to these to listen to his next hipster album, but they sound good. And more than anything, it's kind of this cool home tech element. Like imagine flipping on the lights and the music, and you're like, yeah, those are my light bulbs playing music. Are you kidding me? Also, they change color, which is probably the reason why you're looking to pick these up. From there, I am a huge fan of Logitech mice, but I get it. They can be on the pricier side, especially the higher end stuff, but that, my friends, is where this comes in, the Logitech MX Anywhere 2S. That is a mouthful, but it's an awesome mouse. It's definitely a little on the smaller side if you're used to one of the bigger, thick boys. Like for me, I would definitely prefer this to travel, but if you're upgrading for something like the Magic Mouse or one of these disasters, it's going to be night and day better. Next from there, this might be one of my favorite gadgets like ever. And honestly, unless you're on the wireless charging side of camp, the Native Union Night Cable is hands down the best bedside option, period. The magic sauce is right here in the weighted ball. You can move it, you can manipulate it. So if you ever woke up in the morning, unplugged your phone, and it feels like someone just yanks the cable from you, that is going to stop that from ever happening again. This next gadget is the Aperture Amaran Pocket LED light, which is exactly what it sounds like, a portable LED light that fits in your pocket. Whether you're a filmmaker or just someone who likes to mess with making video, this should be an essential piece of tech in your kit. Aperture makes some of the best lights out there. Not only are they affordable, but they're actually high quality, and that is this, but in a smaller footprint. The only potential downside I would say is the fact that it's daylight balanced, so you can't adjust the color temperature, but an easy fix is just to go old school, slap a young gel on it. You can make it cool, you can make it warm, you can make it colorful, and there are so many situations when you need more light, and with this, it comes in super clutch. Now with lighting, maybe you need something bigger, brighter, maybe you really need to have that adjustable color temperature within the light. The Supon L122T is a great alternative. In terms of actual light quality, the color, I think the Aputure is the better version, but again, this is bigger, it's more flexible. So with this, if you add maybe a bounce or some diffusion, you can definitely do some really cool things with this light. One thing to keep in mind with this light is you do have to buy the battery separately. You're more than likely gonna need some sort of clamp or stand, but the good news is even with all that, you can do that under 50 bucks. Now, most TVs these days, especially the 4K options, usually come in with some sort of Netflix or streaming option, but the problem is the interface is usually trash. Naturally, you counter trash with Fire, the Fire TV Stick 4K. There's not really much that needs to be said about this. You plug the stick in, and now your dumb TV is smart. I will say though, I would probably only recommend this option if you're deep in the Amazon ecosystem. So if you take advantage of Prime and you can watch that library, then go for it. Otherwise, I would say look elsewhere. Speaking of looking elsewhere, what is up Roku Express? Now, personally, I feel like this is the best neutral option. If you're not heavily invested into an ecosystem, this is what you should be looking at. To me, it's kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none, to where it doesn't really excel or dominate in one specific area, but the amount of features you get packed inside is bananas. What it does have going for it is the interface. It's simple, it's easy to use. It could definitely be a little cluttered at times, but overall for 30 bucks, you can't really go wrong. From there, I'll admit, sometimes I get a little too excited with lamps and lights, but this thing is cool as balls. Literally, 2 of them. This is the Hang Balance Light, which is one of the coolest and most unique lights I've ever seen. For me, what I appreciate about this is it looks like it could be in some bougie ass store and sell for north of $100 or $200, but it doesn't. It's under 50, which is nuts. Next from there is the Hutu USB-C adapter, and I've tried multiple dongles and docks and adapters, but for whatever reason, I always come back to this one. Build quality is on point, and yeah, I do see the point and the merit of those docks that plug into the MacBook directly, but there's always been this part of me that kind of just is scared that I'm gonna bump into it and snap a port off, whereas with this, I feel much safer. For the most part with MacBooks, I'm pretty all about that USB-C life, but the one thing I wish they didn't take off was the SD card slot. We are not ready for that yet. Beyond that, now that the iPad Pro is also USB-C, this is a great option for that. And yeah, there are a ton of options out there, a sea full of adapters, but for me, this is my go-to option. From there, speaking of USB-C adapters, if you're rocking an iMac, whether it's the Pro or the standard model, this dock from Satechi is hands down the way to go. With this, you get 3 USB 3.0 ports, 1 USB-C, and SD card slot, and yeah, I realize it's not the biggest deal in the world, but sometimes trying to reach and find that SD card slot in the back of the iMac is annoying. On top of that, aesthetically, this thing looks awesome to the point where it almost looks like it blends in with the iMac. So yeah, if you own an iMac, you almost need to pick this up. Next from there, I got you covered with some really fantastic headphone options, and kicking off the mini list within this giant list is the Crown Series headphones from Plugged. For me, what stands out is the design. These things are super clean. They're minimal, and I really dig this matte white finish here, but they also come in black and navy, which are equally as clean. Now, the only potential downside here is seeing that most smartphones these days don't have a headphone jack. If you don't want to deal with a dongle or an adapter, you may want to look elsewhere, but if you're that Galaxy S9 owner who is just ready to rub it in our faces, you probably want to check these out. These are technically on-ear headphones, but I feel like there's some sort of hybrid in between on-ear and over-ear, so they're bigger, you have more coverage, which is nice, and more importantly, these things sound really good for the money, to the point where I was actually surprised. Now from there, if you dig the wired headphones but want just a slight step up in terms of audio quality, the Audio-Technica AVH AC400s are a great alternative. These are actually over-ear headphones, so they're bigger, they're cushier, they're gonna wrap around your ears and bless your face with beautiful sounding music, unless you are an Iggy Azalea fan. Sorry, Iggy. Overall, in terms of sound quality, I would say these are more neutral compared to the Crowns that we looked at. If you want a better bass heavy option, check out the Crowns, but in terms of balance and overall comfort, you could wear these things all day long. From there, if wired headphones aren't your thing, because yeah, I get it, wires, they get in the way, these T2s from Bluetooth are a steal. These things feature Bluetooth 4.1, they have up to 40 freaking hours of playback, they're bendable, foldable, so they're a great option to travel with, and again, more importantly, these things sound good, especially when you factor in that they are just about 30 bucks. The only thing I would say to look out for is build quality over time. Like, they don't feel cheap, but they're definitely plastic. So don't be reckless with them, take care of them. But again, if you do have to replace these, it's not going to break the bank. Now, if you're grabbing any of those headphones, you're probably thinking to yourself, you know what would go good with those? A headphone stand. And I totally agree with you. The Brainwaves Truss headphone hanger is like this super cool desk hack that allows you to hang your headphones up to 2 and keep everything super clean. In terms of build quality, it's made out of aluminum, so it's really solid. And I will say, in terms of just a little bit of a fair warning, this thing like really sticks onto the under portion of your desk. So make sure you know where you want to put it, especially if you're going to put it like on a painted desk, because it might actually pull some of that paint off. It is on there that well. But overall, this is a must-have item if you own headphones and a desk. Staying in headphone land, these beauties from JLab Audio look like something straight out of Guardians of the Galaxy, but they're Bluetooth. Not only are they under 50, they are under 30 bucks, which kind of doesn't make sense. So if you're into that retro Walkman kind of look, but want to get with the times, these are your jam. From there, maybe on-ear, over-ear headphones, those aren't your jam. I got you with a couple more options. The Sony WI-C300 wireless Bluetooth headphones are money. These things are lightweight, they're comfortable, they sound like really good. They're rocking Bluetooth 4.2, up to 8 hours of battery life, and if you're on the Android side of camp, they also connect by a one-touch through NFC. Now, I will say, if you're looking to work out in these headphones, I think the Anker Soundcore Spirit X is the better option. They are absolutely inspired by Powerbeats, no doubt, but they're a fraction of the price. They're water resistant, they have great battery life, and if you're that active person, these are the way to go. So this far into the video, there's a good chance that you've picked up quite a bit of tech, and more than likely, you need somewhere to store all that. And what better place to do that than this sweet Herschel backpack. I've been a fan of Herschel backpacks for a long time now. They look great, they're simple, but more importantly, they hold up over time. You can store a ton of stuff inside these things, and overall, they're just a great backpack option for the money. So we got gifts for filmmakers, for audio peeps, and I am absolutely not forgetting about my Nintendo Switch fans. This Antake Switch charger is kind of genius. It's packing a 6,000 milliamp hour battery inside, and it form fits to your Switch, which is crazy. It's also a dual kickstand, which provides much more stability when you're propping up your Switch, and what kind of ices the cake or pops that cherry on top is there's built-in storage, so you can store 2 games inside this, which makes this kind of the trifecta. Next, for those that want to upgrade their computer audio, but A, don't want to pick up those little tiny speakers that don't sound that great, or B, pick up the bigger, bulkier, more expensive options, this Tautronics mini soundbar is a steal. It's primarily designed as a soundbar for your desktop, but I absolutely could see getting away with this for one of those mini TVs like in a dorm setup. It connects via 3.5mm audio or USB, which is awesome, so you have options. And again, the best part about this thing is that it's under 50 bucks. From there, speaking of speakers, maybe you don't want to be tied to a desktop or a cable, maybe you want something more portable, I got a handful of really cool options. First up is the Tribit X Sound Go, which honestly looks like a Beats pill, so I am just pimping Beats knockoffs. But again, it is much, much cheaper. You get fantastic sound quality, it's portable, and really awesome battery life. Another really fantastic portable Bluetooth speaker is the JBL Go 2. It's tiny, but it packs a pretty solid punch. Next from there was a little throwback to last year's gift guide where I featured this awesome French Bulldog Bluetooth speaker and one of my favorite human beings ever, Teresa.
Hi, how are you?
This year we are back with a Skull Bluetooth speaker. It's like the French Bulldog Skull brother. And there are 2 amazing things about this. One, when you turn it on, you have like this Thriller Windows acoustic guitar riff trifecta combo, which is just like strangely bizarre. If you're still with me after that, I'm not sure if this next thing is crazy or just pure genius. You can control the speaker through the teeth, and on top of that, it sounds good. Like, you'll see there is a surprising amount of low end that kind of just punches you in the face or skull. So if we lower the volume, the teeth, there are 2 sections. You can go next song, pretty instant, pretty awesome, or even go previous song. Like, who sat there in the boardroom and thought, yo, we need a Bluetooth speaker that's shaped like a skull that dishes out Michael Jackson Thriller sounds with a hybrid of windows, and you can control it through the teeth? I am personally not sure, but it exists, and if you wanted a Bluetooth speaker shaped like a skull that sounds good, this is your perfect option. Next from there, if skull speakers aren't your thing, I get it. I got one more young alternative, the Photosphere, which honestly kind of looks like honey. We blew up the Google Home Mini minus the smart home functionality. Shout out to Rick Moranis, who probably would like the speaker. This thing packs some really impressive sound, especially when you consider the size, but hands down, my favorite thing about the speaker is the first question on the Amazon page, which asks, can you put this under your pillow and will it bother my spouse? Honestly, I couldn't see how this would not bother your spouse. So if that's something you're into, this is your speaker. From there, shrinking things back down, shout out again to Rick Moranis, taking a look at the actual Google Home Mini. Honestly, this is one of the best tech gadgets you can ever get for someone that is under 50 bucks. In terms of smart assistants, we know Siri, it's a little slow, and I think hands down Google Assistant takes the cake, and this gives you all of that in a tiny, compact, affordable package. Now, maybe you're not into the Google ecosystem. Maybe you're about that fire life. You got the 8x12 of Jeff Bezos in your bedroom. I get it. Now we're talking about the Echo Dot. Forever, this was like the entry point to get into the smart home game with Amazon, but fortunately now we also have options. Unfortunately, the speaker on the Echo Dot isn't the greatest in the world. It's small, it's tinny, it doesn't really fill the room. So if you want to step up, the Fabrique is a great alternative and it looks really awesome. But what if even the Fabrique isn't enough speaker for you? What if you want to connect your own speaker? What if you want something bigger, something better? Enter the Echo Inputs. It is essentially the Amazon Echo Brain that you can connect to any speaker. So if you want to go like Back to the Future, max that baby out, you can throw the Echo Input on that and bring that smart home functionality to your massive setup. From there, with the new year here, hopefully you've been keeping them New Year's resolutions, hitting the gym, buff dude style. And if you are, a great way to keep track of that is with a smart scale that doesn't break the bank. With that, one really important element of that is tracking your progress, your results, and one easy way to do that is by adding a smart scale. But the problem is, for the most part, these tend to be pricey, but not this one. The Eufy body scale is $39.99, which almost doesn't make sense. On top of just weight, you can track your body fat, your BMI, water, muscle, bone, visceral fat, the worst kind, and also muscle mass for them gains. It connects via Bluetooth, which is awesome, but what's even cooler is you can store up to 20 different profiles, which is quite a few. And unless you're popping out kids like the Brady Bunch, this should cover more than just the household. From there, speaking of portable travel tech that is catered to cameras, the Peak Design Capture Clip V3 is kind of amazing. First off, it looks like something Adam West would whip out of his utility belt. What it is though is this tiny little belt that's designed to secure onto your backpack strap or even your belt and give you quick release access to your camera. I get it, not a lot of people want to be the strap guy, so this is actually not only a cool looking alternative, but a practical one as well. It can technically support up to 200 pounds, so yeah, if MKBHD wanted to throw his red on this, he could. I wouldn't recommend it because that would just be ridiculous, but it's nice that you have that flexibility. Build quality is fantastic as well. It's all metal, so that is not going to be an issue. And again, the fact that this is under 50 bucks, if you shoot video or photos, this is kind of a must have. Next from there, looking at some of my favorite travel tech, the Native Union Smart Hub for me is essential. Build quality is fantastic, so I'm not gonna have to worry about throwing it in my backpack and wonder if it's gonna break. You get a total of 4 ports, 3 regular USB ports, and then 1 USB-C, which for me kind of seals the deal and makes this thing really handy. On top of that, you also get 2 AC ports on the side, and I really like the fact that they're spaced out, so if you plug in a laptop on one side, you have room on the other side without getting cluttered. Next from there is the RAV Power All-in-One File Hub Plus, and you know, if MacGyver had a gadget in his bag, this would be it. For starters, there's a 6700 milliamp hour battery packed inside. Awesome. There's also a built-in SD card slot, so you can wirelessly transfer photos to your phone or directly to a hard drive if you don't want to bring your laptop. Double awesome. And then on top of that, to ice the cake, it is also a portable Wi-Fi router. So imagine you're at a hotel and you have access to Ethernet, you could actually plug that into this little guy, and then it turns into this little Wi-Fi hotspot, which is triple awesome. From there, maybe you don't need all that. Maybe you don't need an SD card slot and just need more storage on your iPhone or potentially your older iPad. The Duo Link from PNY is a really solid choice. This particular model will get you an extra 128 gigabytes of storage, so if you are maxed out or like living on a prayer, this will give you some breathing room. Now, the way this works is you have USB-A on one end and then Lightning on the other. So you could plug this into your laptop, transfer pictures onto there and then onto your iPhone, but it is iOS specific. Conversely, maybe you don't need that much storage, or maybe you need something with a little more flexibility. This 64GB option from Vakasi is fantastic. You have USB-A, you have Lightning, you also have USB-C, so it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of USB drives. Now, maybe the downside with this, I would say that it's not like a super well-known brand, and I have read a couple compatibility issues online, so definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at this for your device, but overall for the price, I think it's a pretty stellar option. Next from there, when I first saw this thing on Amazon, I honestly thought it was kind of ridiculous, but in reality, it is surprisingly cool. What it is this like crazy telephoto looking 5-in-1 lens kit for your iPhone. Now I will say the marketing with these things are always a little bit sketchy. They say it's a 5-in-1, but you actually get 4 focal lengths. So with that, that's wide angle, macro, fisheye, which is always kind of a hit or miss kind of thing. And then a 12 times telephoto zoom, which is bonkers. I will definitely say the wide angle lens is the most useful option, but I'm not gonna lie, with that telephoto lens, I got some pretty unique looks. So next, if you love USB ports or you find yourself just filling them up constantly, you need this 10-port monster hub from Anker. So what's awesome is you have 7 USB 3.0 ports, which also pass through data, but you also have 3 IQ ports, which you're gonna use for charging. What this is gonna do is rapidly charge your phone, but then also ramp down and stop charging once the battery is full, so you're not jacking things up. From there, speaking of Anker, most phones these days feature wireless charging. So if you wanna go that route but don't wanna spend a ton of money, this standing charge is a fantastic option. What I appreciate about this is that everything you need to charge your phone is in the box, whereas with some other wireless chargers, you have to buy things separately. So you may not realize that, get the charger in the mail and realize, hey, I can't use this. So for me, my main laptop is a 15-inch MacBook Pro. One of my favorite accessories is this sleeve from Incase. There definitely are cheaper options, but for me, 1, I love the aesthetic, and 2, I love the build quality. So it's a great way to protect your MacBook without adding a ton of bulk to your carry. Next from there, if you like organizing your tech in things that don't look like tech, the 12 South BookBook Caddy is perfect. Now, where this makes a great companion piece is for someone who owns an iPad or a MacBook. The chargers fit perfectly, and even with the new iPad Pro featuring that magnetic Apple Pencil, if you're worried about losing it, this is a great place to store it. So from there, we know Apple has completely screwed up AirPower, which means no AirPods 2, no wireless charging, unless, bam, this wireless charging case from East Brooklyn Labs, which solves that problem. It's pretty simple. You pop your AirPods case into this, and that adds a layer of protection and also adds wireless charging. My only complaint is it's a little counterintuitive to where you have to actually face it down to charge, where instinctively I kind of want to put it the other way, but either way, it's still a great way to inexpensively add wirelessly charging to your AirPods. Next from there is a tech YouTube classic, the Blue Snowball Ice, which is a fantastic USB microphone that isn't going to break the bank. Whether you're looking to record an instrument or do a voiceover or potentially even stream, this is a perfect option. It's simple, it's plug and play, so you're not going to need an audio degree to set it up. And again, the most important part is this thing sounds good. From there, for my Apple Watch users, this Nomad Apple Watch stand is badass. It's thick with 3 C's, heavy with 3 V's, and yeah, you gotta appreciate some heft with a stand. The one caveat I will say is the Apple Watch charger is not included with this, but more than likely you have one that came with your watch, so you can use that to set things up. It's simple, it looks great on a nightstand or a desk, and if you own an Apple Watch, this is a must-have piece of tech. Next from there is the Voom Aura Box, which does a ton of things, but in a nutshell is a smart pixel speaker. The most enticing thing with this is the customization you have over the LEDs, whether you want to use it as a clock or notifications, or just smack an icon there, which looks awesome. The sound quality of the speaker also surprised me. Like, it's not amazing, and if you're looking solely for a Bluetooth speaker, I would not pick this up, but if you're looking for a 2-in-1 option, it's actually pretty cool and makes a great accent piece on a desk. Chugging down that list, the Retrobit RES Plus is an awesome way to play your old NES cartridges through an HDMI equipped TV. If you do want to go like super nostalgia and go AV out, you do have that option as well, but I think the selling point of this is definitely being able to hook this up into a modern TV. Personally, I was more of a Sega Genesis kid because I actually remember going to Toys R Us, picking up an NES, playing Duck Hunter, fighting with my brother, and then my mom made us return it the very same day. So my experience with games had to hold off for a couple years. If you didn't have a sad story like me though, and you were an NES kid, this is going to be a super cool option. Out of the box, you get 2 controllers, which is actually really handy because no one really wants to play by themselves. Whether or not that's up for debate, we can't argue with the fact that it is an awesome gift, especially for someone who wants to bring back a little bit of that NES nostalgia. From there, speaking of awesome gaming gadgets, one of the biggest complaints with the Nintendo Switch is the lack of Bluetooth support, but this Genki Bluetooth adapter completely fixes that. My guy Kevin Kenson did an in-depth, thorough video on this on his channel, which is awesome, but the TLD of this is that it fixes the Bluetooth problem on your Nintendo Switch. So if you want to use this in conjunction with your favorite Bluetooth headphones, now you can. Speaking of Nintendo Switch, how would you, yes you, like to win your very own paired with this Bluetooth receiver, the Bluetooth headphones, rounded out, smacked up in that Herschel backpack? Well, my friend, today is your lucky day. I'm teaming up with the one, the only, Jared Leto, AKA Kevin Kenson. Details on how to win are down below. Mainly, make sure you're subscribed here and to Kevin Kenson. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you guys smash that like button because holy long video, Batman, my voice is about to cave. If you guys want to see more, again, let me know and I will catch you guys later. 2 down, it's gonna